Kia ora, good evening. I'm Dave Gooselink. Welcome to Southern Newsweek. Well, a change in name, but is it a change in policy? The government's announced a reset for its controversial Three Waters reforms this week, with a few changes along with a rebrand aimed at getting more New Zealanders on board.
Ambitious plans to reform the country's Three Waters infrastructure have been a thorn in the side of the Labour government. Kieran McAnulty's been tasked with selling the rejigged policy and putting a friendlier face to the plans after taking over from former local government minister Nanaia Mahuta. At a media conference on Thursday, he revealed a reset for the controversial Three Waters legislation. It's now been rebranded as Affordable Water Reforms. Labour says the reforms are needed to help bring the country's water infrastructure up to scratch, in a program estimated to cost up to $185 billion.
This is the model that we will be taking to the election campaign. So we will put it in place, we will take it to the election campaign. Those who are arguing for something different need to be upfront and honest with New Zealanders about how much extra they're going to be charging them on their rates in order to pay for that.
Along with a rebrand, there are a few changes. The government scrapped unpopular plans to set up 4 mega entities to deliver freshwater, wastewater and stormwater services to households. There'll now be 10 public water entities across the country, giving local councils more direct engagement with the organisations managing water services on their behalf.
Every council will be represented around the table in guiding those local water entities.
However, one aspect criticised by many protesters remains unchanged: the controversial 50-50 co-governance of local representative groups between mana whenua and councils. However, Prime Minister Chris Hipkins insists there's no requirement for the entity boards themselves to be co-governed. Labour claims the reforms could save households thousands of dollars a year, but National has dismissed them as broken reforms with a new coat of paint. Across the country, the South Today.
A leading French winemaker believes a 350-hectare area of central Otago could rival the world's top wine regions for producing high-end Pinot Noir. Super premium wines can sell for hundreds of dollars a bottle, but Burgundy in France can't keep up with growing global demand. A top central Otago vineyard with huge potential. That's the view of Baroness Ariane de Rothschild, whose company bought Akarua Estate in Bannockburn last year. The Edmund de Rothschild Group already owns 9 estates across 4 continents, starting its New Zealand adventure a decade ago with Sauvignon Blanc after buying the Rimapere winery in Marlborough.
I very much like the way the New Zealand wines are made, in the sense I think there's a lot of respect for the fruit, respect du fruit. Very crisp. I really enjoy them very much.
She's travelled down under for the first time alongside daughter Ev to check out the Akarua vineyard firsthand, which includes 34 hectares of established vineyards. She says there's a global shortage of super premium Pinot Noir, with the French winemakers identifying Central Otago as uniquely positioned to step in.
Well, super premium wines are first an exceptional quality. Without exceptional quality, there's no super premium. So I think you have, again, the terroir, the grapes, the history of, the age of grapes that will allow you to do that extra step.
Bordeaux-based managing director of wines, Boris Brayo, was sent down under for 3 months to help jumpstart and relaunch their new acquisition.
And we were looking to do something very special, and we've identified Central Otago as probably one of the best places worldwide to grow exceptional Pinot Noirs.
The company held a relaunch party this week, inviting an entourage of international wine experts and journalists, along with neighbouring wineries. They're keen to learn from and work alongside other local wine growers, sharing resources to further improve the quality and recognition of this region.
In any business, not only wine, when your competitors do well, it's fantastic, because I think, the goal is to get the whole region, one notch up.
Their first order of business is making the vineyard as organic as possible, a 3-year process that's already underway. In Bannockburn, the South Today. The controversy over a proposed new international airport in the central Otago township of Terrace is showing no signs of dying down. Now, an environmental group has joined the campaign against the ambitious proposal. It claims the costly project isn't needed.
Pressure is mounting on the Christchurch City Council as it continues to consider plans around building a new airport in central Otago. Christchurch Airport announced the purchase of 750 hectares of farmland in Terrace in July 2020. The company is keen to spread their wings by building a new international terminal there to handle overflow flights, with Queenstown Airport forecast to reach capacity within the next decade. The Christchurch City Council owns a 75% stake in the airport and has spent $45 million on land for the project. But some groups are opposed to the plans. Graham Townsend from the climate action group 350 Christchurch is among those opposing the Terrace Airport proposal. He says the group wants more action instead around reducing greenhouse gas emissions.
Globally, our current trajectory means we will burn through our remaining carbon budget by 2030 and exceed the safe limit of plus 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial shortly after that.
The Christchurch Council declared a climate emergency in 2019, with the aim of becoming carbon neutral by 2030. And recently a group of 11 academics joined together in strong opposition against an airport at Terrace. The group say the aviation industry was critical to achieving climate goals and believe building a new airport makes no sense. The council isn't due to make a final decision on whether it'll go ahead with the project until the end of this year, once the planning phase is completed. In Christchurch, the South Today.
Well, Jaffa lollies were replaced with footballs earlier this week as the balls rolled down Baldwin Street to predict the result of the FIFA Women's World Cup. The countdown's on for the tournament later this year, with Dunedin already kicking off the festivities.
Colourful soccer balls bouncing their way down Dunedin's steepest street. 32 footballs were released down Baldwin Street, representing each country competing for the FIFA Women's World Cup. The event marks 100 days until the tournament kicks off, which is hosted by Australia and New Zealand this winter.
And today's a very special day because this is 100 days from the start of the competition, and tickets are now officially on sale again, right today.
The Switzerland women's football team have chosen Dunedin as their base for the World Cup, with Forsyth Bar Stadium set to host 6 games across the competition.
This will be the biggest ever sports event in New Zealand because with a global audience of about 2 billion people, it will have the furthest reach of any sport event that New Zealand's ever had.
The football representing Italy crossed the finish line first, leaving budding footballer Isabella Cristoforetti excited to watch her heroes.
We need more women pushing themselves to keep trying, playing football.
The World Cup is set to kick off in mid-July, with the New Zealand football Ferns ready to face the Swiss team for their first game of the tournament in Dunedin. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Whai Akine still to come on Southern Newsweek. The Easter Bunny paid a visit to Invercargill as locals celebrated a family day of fun, and vehicles of all shapes and sizes were on display in Wanaka, with a 2-storey truck catching quite a few eyes. Welcome back. Well, it was a fun day out for the whole family in Invercargill over Easter on Good Friday as the Easter celebrations kicked off down there. The Easter extravaganza was the place to be over the long weekend, with lots of activities to help burn off the chocolate devoured over the holiday period. The Easter Bunny hopped into ILT Stadium Southland on Good Friday for a special weekend event. Among the tasks at his visit was judging the Best Easter Bonnet competition, where there were some impressive creations by young artists vying for the top prize. Organisers were pleasantly surprised at the big response from Invercargill residents for the first ever extravaganza event, with around 500 people attending across the day. And there was plenty on offer for families, with spaces for people to come and do crafts, but structured to allow families to enjoy activities together.
Colouring in, playing out in the big red ball sports, burning off energy.
Oh, we've had a busy morning. We've been playing with the play pods, entered the colouring in competition. We saw the Easter bunny. Didn't quite get a photo, but can't keep the kids all still at the same time.
Along with the Easter bonnet task, there was a range of other arts and crafts projects and a hippity-hoppity hunt. Many of the children managed to burn off some of their Easter sugar intake on the play equipment. Parents impressed with the day and pleased the stadium facility is able to give back to the community through events like this over Easter. In Invercargill, the South Today. And Easter weekend saw the people of Clyde enjoying more than just chocolate as the historic town welcomed back its Wine and Food Festival.
Thousands of people from all over the region filled the main street of Clyde on Sunday as they enjoyed a range of local food, wine and entertainment. Promote Dunstan, who have been running the event for 23 years, happily welcomed back the festival after COVID-19 restrictions forced them to cancel last year. After a couple of weeks of poor weather warnings, the sunny Central Otago autumn day was a pleasant sight for organisers.
I did have a peek look 2 weeks ago and it had sort of ominous clouds and things, and I thought, oh well, we'll see what happens. And it's good because it's a lovely day, it's not too hot. It's a really good day for the festival.
All money raised from the festival will go back to the community, including funding to get the region's young winemakers work experience on vineyards in France. In Clyde, the South Today.
Legendary sportsman Russell Cootes has the youth flocking to the water as he teaches them a thing or two about sailing. The new Inspire program aims to give up-and-coming talent experience on high-performance boats to raise the next generation of New Zealand talent.
You may not have seen him, but Russell Cootes was there on the day, one of the driving forces behind Sail GP and the next generation of New Zealand sailing talent. With the support of Cootes, young New Zealanders are taken to the Sail GP Inspire program, a program designed to give New Zealand kids more performance sailing time than they would otherwise get.
Inspire's got lots of moving parts to it, so it's something Russell Cootes and the team at Sail GP put together, which they run a fantastic event. They've got the RS Fevers, which you can see behind me. We've then got some foiling, kids out on foiling yachts on the harbour.
The Inspire program is more than just about sailing the RS Fevers. It's the whole sailing package for kids wanting to get seriously involved in the competitive sailing industry.
Basically, it's to get kids into a phase where they can move into roles within professional sailing. So you don't just need to be a sailor to be in professional sailing. You might be a photographer, you might be a reporter, you may be a technical person. There's lots of technical things going on, race officer, etc. So it's really getting kids inspired to get into more sailing.
Jones says Cootes knows what it's like to begin sailing early. Growing up in Dunedin, he raced P-class yachts as a youth.
He's really into this fantastic event from a spectator point of view, but also very much into making sure that it has a future and you can build your own future, which is what they're doing.
Jones says that once they get the bug, you just can't stop them. Youth taking to the water in droves and guaranteeing a new generation of New Zealand sailors ready to take on the world. In Christchurch, the South Today.
Vehicles, big, small, old and new, were on show in Central Otago over the Easter weekend. Wheels at Wanaka provided thousands of visitors with the best automobile entertainment, showcasing a range of different vehicles through parades and competitions.
It's been car lovers' heaven this Easter weekend as the biennial event Wheels at Wanaka revs up in Central Otago. More than 20,000 people from across the country made their way to the lakeside town to check out the wide variety of vehicles and wheels this year. It's the third time this event's been held, with 7 arenas across the 3 parks area featuring 50 acres of automobile entertainment. There's everything from motocross and rally demonstrations through to classic car shows and Terracat earth moving across the 3 days.
Every 15 minutes we've got another vehicle parade happening down in the main Highlands Arena. We've got a tractor, truck and steam engine pull competition happening, the first of its kind in New Zealand. Yeah, there's a lot going on today.
One of the draw cards this year is a massive Caterpillar 789. The 2-storey tall dump truck has been brought to the show by mining company Oceania Gold. A large section of land is dedicated to vehicles of smaller size. Proud owners are showing off a variety of street cars, from classic Land Rovers through to brand new Porsche 911s.
Oh, the old cars, and brought the old Morgan for a bit of a tootle down the road, and the fishing of the canals on the way down, and what better can life be?
Wheels at Wanaka alternates with the long-running air show Warbirds over Wanaka each Easter weekend. Media and promotions manager Annabelle Roy believes this is the biggest crowd the event's seen since it was launched in 2019, with the all-vehicle, all-machinery vintage fair due back in 2025. In Wanaka, the South Today.
Well, Southlanders were in for more than just a sweet treat during the long weekend, as families gathered to enjoy a fun-filled day out there. The annual Riverton Easter Racing Meet had a vibrant crowd cheering in a local mare as it took home the gold.
Thousands of punters gathering around the track, enjoying a day of racing in the sun. The Riverton Racing Club held its annual Easter meet over the long weekend, hosting the club's cup race on Saturday. The Riverton Racing Cup was the first of 2 racing days at Ascot Park, attracting a huge crowd as the sunny Southland weather turned on for the day at the track.
Great day, especially if you have a look at the crowd here today. It's fantastic, big crowd and a beautiful day. The weather's unbelievable. And you can't complain about a day at the races when the weather's turned on like this.
There were also a range of outdoor activities for the young kids to enjoy, such as free rides, wrestling and slides. Tina Tagg, who regularly attended the events in her youth, was pleasantly surprised with the size of the crowd the event still attracted, bringing in people of all ages.
Before I left Southland, I was here for most Easter meetings. And to come here today, it's just brought those memories back because it's such a vibrant, happy crowd. And they've turned on a wonderful, wonderful day.
The $65,000 premier race was taken out by local horse Azathoth, narrowly beating out its fellow local competitor Kilowatt. In Invercargill, the South Today.
Whai Akine, still to come on Southern Newsweek. A fast-growing Cromwell Primary School opens a new multi-million-dollar extension, and Queenstown locals are ditching the sun hats for ice skates as an ice rink prepares to come back with a bang. Welcome back. Well, Cromwell Primary School has had a revamp and has officially opened the doors on a new multi-million-dollar building. The new entrance facility will cater to the school's growing role, allowing teachers to get stuck into some new practices.
Cromwell's next generation eagerly waiting to check out their new learning facilities. Cromwell Primary School's Hariwa Hub was officially opened this week. It adds 4 classrooms, a kitchen area and small breakout spaces for the new entrant pupils. Staff say the new modern facility creates a better space for teachers to do their job. Previously, some classes were having to be taught in the hallways.
Now that we finally have a building now that's caught up with the times, teachers are really excited to get their teeth stuck into some innovative practice, which is really exciting. Yeah.
The multi-million-dollar project took around 8 months to build and was funded by the Ministry of Education. Central Otago Mayor Tim Cadogan was on hand for the opening and believes the project is symbolic of the region's growth.
It's just incredible, the growth, and seeing the ministry react to the growth and seeing these great, wonderful teaching and community spaces building at Cromwell Primary is a wonderful thing.
And the role is continuing to grow, with the number of pupils expected to hit 400 next year for the first time in the school's history. In Cromwell, the South Today.
Well, Canterbury Brass Band is on the hunt for new players, particularly those who might play the cornet. But there's a catch. You probably have to be at least 50 years old to join this unique band.
Banging up the beat with brass. Every week, around 35 members of 50s Up Brass meet at their new Brighton band rooms to practice their repertoire and to socialise. And while there's nothing too flashy about their music, it's always popular with the locals.
Mainly middle of the road, nothing too serious, nothing too classical or anything like that.
The brass band is preparing to celebrate its 30th anniversary in October. However, they have one big, or should that be short, problem.
We are short of corner players. We've got good numbers in all the other sections, but unfortunately, I won't say worldwide, but New Zealand-wide shortage of cornet players.
Kay says cornets are the lead instrument of any brass band and are quite integral to their musical timing. 50s Up Brass regularly plays mini concerts at public events, working men's clubs and retirement homes.
In our earlier days, we had up to 50 players, and we used to do concerts in the town hall. Once a concert filled the town hall once a year.
Kays admits they always have new players coming through, especially retirees wanting to do something with the extra time on their hands. That gives them a positive feeling about the future of 50s Up Brass, provided they can find some of those cornet players. In Christchurch, the South Today.
And in Queenstown, locals are getting ready to put their skates on as the town's ice rink gets ready to reopen for the winter season. The Queenstown Ice Arena has used its off-season to revamp the rink as they bring back some beloved events.
Get ready to strap on your skates as the Queenstown Ice Arena gets ready to reopen for the 2023 season this Friday. Arena staff have been working hard, repainting the concrete and roof, replacing the carpet and putting down fresh ice during the summer shutdown.
Been laying layer after layer, probably about 20, 25, 30 layers, thin layers with the hose here, so that'll get it until we can get the Zamboni out and lay in water with that.
The arena has also brought in a boatload of ice skates, with over 500 new pairs ready for the public to enjoy. Co-owner T. Graham says they're also looking to revive nighttime skate sessions at the rink, with games and music on Friday and Saturday evenings.
Yeah, I think some of the older crowd from Queenstown would remember the old disco nights, they used to call them. We'd play games and different prizes, things like that, just to liven it up a bit in the evening.
The refreshed arena's also hosting an ice hockey training camp on Thursday, helping players gear up for the opening round of the winter hockey season. In Queenstown, the South Today.
Well, from grassroots to the top level, a rural Southland rugby club played a number of matches last weekend, coming together for a very big milestone. Supporters young and old joined in the celebrations, marking a century of playing the game.
Tokanui halfback passing out wide off the scrum, running a hard line for a very historical match. Tokanui Rugby Football Club celebrated 100 years over the long weekend, marking the club's rich history with games against Wyndham on Saturday. The sun was shining down on the crowd as they gathered at the local grounds to watch the matches, following a formal dinner the night before.
Yeah, we had a lot of players from Australia, ex-players Australia, Auckland, Whangarei. Yeah, so just great to catch up with a lot of people we hadn't seen for a long time.
Tokanui teams from juniors all the way to old boys took to the field over the weekend, with senior men's fullback Daniel Webber playing his 150th game for the club.
Yeah, playing today on the centennial, great milestone personally, but obviously great milestone for the club too. So it's a good day here at the moment as well, so it's even better.
Former player Lex Chisholm attended the festivities, reminiscing on the success the organisation's had over the past century, including winning the World Club Championship.
There was 54 teams in Hawaii and we were fortunate enough to win it, which was, very, very special times with a very, very special bunch of people.
Wyndham took the win for the Division 1 game, beating Tokanui 25-7. Organisers feel the centennial celebration was a big success, with a range of supporters young and old coming together to pay homage to their local club. In Tokanui, the South Today.
And that wraps up this edition of Southern Newsweek. For the latest news and videos from the Southern region, head online to odt.co.nz. And you can follow Channel 39 on YouTube and the South Today NZ on Facebook to catch our news bulletins on demand. We'll see you again next week. Mā te wā.
Public interest journalism funded through New Zealand On Air.